I need to address what has become an issue for many of my viewers. I'm getting emailed each week from Jason Fung supporters and various Keto supporters. And as the movement is growing, I need to address some things because, well, there are some unsettling trends. First of all, this video is not an attack on keto eating. If you choose to eat that way, if you find it is the best way for you to eat, I'm totally good with that. And the beauty of OMAD is that it melds toward any eating style. It depends how you respond. Some people don't metabolize sugars well. They have too high a fasting insulin. So a more ketogenic approach can, in a limited way, be effective. So I'm not critiquing you. What I am critiquing is some of the extremism that has entered the dieting realm, and it comes from the keto movement. But I'm also going to point out some deficiencies of the keto movement because this has become a pretty big deal in terms of what people are offering. And it's actually a setback to many people. Here's the truth about ketoism. Most people will have success with it if they're going, say, from 400 to 300 pounds. But when you go from 300 to 200, it's not so good because it's going to be extremely slow and difficult. Add in the fact that you're eating a crazy diet that is going to restrict most of the foods people enjoy. Add in the fact that your doctor is going to want to put you on a statin medication because it, in all likelihood, can and very probably will raise your cholesterol. Yes, I know people say it won't, but it does. So there are some setbacks. But the fact of the matter is, most people who contact me about the products, the problems with keto, headaches. I've gotten emails this week on headaches, how to treat headaches, and my response is the same. Add in carbs, at least 30 to 40%, if you're not going to do as many. I've always taught carb consciousness. No complete junk foods, except in small quantities. You can still be satisfied with a meal that is predominantly carb, but not junk food. I believe there's a legit difference there, and I've always taught it. But the problem with all of these things comes back to putting yourself in dieter's prison. Once you start eliminating food groups, once you start eliminating macros or cutting them down unrealistically, you're going to run into trouble with staying on the plan. And most of these people who go on these Atkins-style, keto-style craziness, they find that they self-destruct. And for obvious reasons. Go back to my video on the cardinal principles of weight loss. You're going to eat what is around you. You just are. I wish it were not that way, but it absolutely is that way. You're going to eat what is around you. If you live in a city with good Cajun food or good Mexican food or good Chinese, you're going to eat those things. You are, and there's nothing wrong with that because you have to blend. You have to live in the society in which you were brought up and in which you function. It's just a law of life. I would rather face it up front than face it later. So don't put yourself in dieter's prison. But I'm also going to call out a couple of other things that are really causing trouble for some people, and that is the Bulletproof coffee stuff, the coconut oil coffee, butter coffee. This is something I get emailed a lot every week, and people say, have you tried Bulletproof coffee? Have you tried adding coconut oil and MCT oil to your coffee? I have, and I never did. Let me say first, I never did any of that on my weight loss journey on my way down from 363 pounds down to 185. I never did stuff like that because one, I didn't know about it, but two, it sounds crazy anyway. But here's the thing. I have tried recently, and I announced in the OMAD forums that I was trying the coconut oil thing. Coconut oil has great nutritional benefits. I'm not denying it, but it does not give energy. I'm sorry to say it does not. It does not suppress hunger any more than people think water. The same people who think coconut oil suppresses hunger think that drinking water before a meal fills you up. It doesn't. I'm just going to be realistic. No placebo effect. It doesn't work. But here's the thing, and here's why I need to do this video. I'm not attacking Jason Fung. I'm not attacking all of these guys. It's not my intent. But I do need to call a spade, and you come to this channel not for the fancy intros and outros. You come to this channel for the honesty. If you want to go watch a 27-year-old working out with their shirt off, go right ahead. There are plenty of channels for that. This channel is the real hard truth for people who are in the real world, who are productive and don't need to. They have lives that are actually based here in real land. But that said, these people, Tommy Moore, Dr. Jason Fung, and a number of other big keto advocates and low-carb advocates, they're doing everybody a disservice, and they're wrong on a lot of things. One is that calorie restriction does not work for weight loss. That's complete horse crap. It's false, and I'm living proof that it's false. I went from a size 54 waist to a 34. I dropped 174 pounds in under a year. I live the proof every day. You're looking at the proof. It works. It's also realistic, but it's true no matter whether you agree or not. Calories in, calories out is the name of the game. It is complete self-denial and intellectual dishonesty to say otherwise. Now, you have to be smart about it because most people who attempt to diet fail. But it is something that has to be approached with intelligence. That goes without saying. But number two is the fat versus calories myth. This is another thing that the keto advocates are saying. If you just get fat, you just eat a lot of fat, you won't get fat. You'll lose weight. It's completely nonsense, friends. If you get enough fat to overshoot your calorie range based on your energy production, calories in, calories out, you're going to either gain weight or you're going to stay the same weight. And most of the people who contact me on keto are people who, again, have lost some weight, and then they get to this point where they look vascular and they get some compliments from people, but they don't keep losing weight. And it's astounding how many people this describes. You won't keep losing weight like this. So the Bulletproof coffee thing is another one. It's a 400 plus calorie beverage if you do it right. That's a large chunk of your day's calories. So if you think by going through the day and getting 400 calories of fat, that won't break your fast, you're wrong. I've said before, and I'll link to the video, you can have between 15 and 20 calories maximum for a beverage, a no-calorie beverage, to count as a no-calorie beverage. You can go a little bit more with fat calories. You can go to about 100 calories, and you won't break your fast. And there are more considerations, by the way, than just insulin. But if you drink a lot of fat through the day, even though it's fat, it is not somehow removed from calories in, calories out. You're going to either maintain weight or you're going to gain weight. You just are. So these people who are saying you can just drink a lot of fat and that it doesn't count toward calories are wrong. And Jason Fung is completely wrong about it. Just like he's wrong when he says that diet soda provokes an insulin response similar to sugar. He's completely wrong about it. He's wrong about it. He couldn't be any more wrong about it. Less than 8% of the population ever gets an insulin response from diet soda. And those who do, after the first 3 or 4 drinks, their body's going to adapt and is not going to make any more insulin. The next one is the idea that the body is, you don't lose fat. You don't lose muscle when you lose fat. Now keep in mind, Jason Fung is a smart guy, very well educated. He comes out and he makes this illustration. He says, your body is not stupid enough to chop up the couch if it needs firewood. So if it needs firewood, it's going to cause you to go out and hunt and get firewood. It's not going to tear up your muscles, which in this illustration the couch represents your muscles. But of course, the illustration is completely wrong, and he's just wrong about it. Go ask anybody who's ever attempted bodybuilding. And I don't mean professional, I mean just a lay bodybuilder in the gym, like a gym buff, at the Gold's Gym near you, or Planet Fitness, or whatever. They're going to tell you that as soon as you start going to get a cut, to get shredded, to lose body fat, you're going to lose your gains. Ask anyone. I'll pay you $20,000 of my own money if you can find any group of bodybuilders on the planet that says, oh yeah, by cutting down, you gain muscle. I'm going to keep my money because you're not going to find it. Fasting can play a part in muscle building, but after the 4th day of calorie restriction, your body starts to eat protein. And then by the 7th or 8th day, it starts to eat your muscle a little bit. So what you're going to have is 15% muscle loss over a 4 or 5 month period of fasting, and you're going to have an 85% fat loss, give or take, depending on your propensity, depending on how much you're fasting and how much of a deficit you maintain. So don't think that you're going to somehow, you have some kind of body that's just super intelligent. Your body's only intelligent in the sense that an autistic kid is intelligent. So real smart in some ways, but really stupid in others. In fact, your body is so stupid that every day in this country, more people are diagnosed as type 1 diabetics, which is where your immune system goes crazy and attacks your pancreas, destroying the beta cells because it thinks it's a foreign invader. That's incredibly stupid. People get autoimmune disorders, all sorts of thyroid disorders. They develop cancers because your body's too stupid to know that it has to work in sync. It can't work out of sync. So you lose track all the time. You self-destruct all the time. People do it all. That's why the doctors will always be busy, because your body's incredibly stupid. It's so crazy that the frustrations that bodybuilders face are, it's just amazing. You're trying to cut down for a competition, but you end up losing your gains. And it's true. Ask anyone. You will lose some fat. You will lose mostly fat, but you will also lose muscle. And those who are saying otherwise are just being intellectually dishonest. I'm sorry to say it, there is no other way. They're being intellectually dishonest. You will lose fat, you will lose muscle, because it is a pinball machine process. It's like blood cells, white blood cells, peptides, proteins, everything going on. It's a great war. Just like the struggle for good and evil and positive and negative, you need both. It's always a craziness. And there is no rhyme or reason to it except for the basic evolutionary principles that have kept us going this long. So yes, it's a chemistry class. It's how you digest food, and that's why food purists find such utter frustration in trying to find the perfect diet. You have the Garden of Eden people who are saying you're meant to eat a vegan diet. You have the paleo people saying, well, that's how the cavemen eat, so you need to follow cavemen. But neither are correct, and all keep running into deficiencies and problems, because it is just a self-adjustment process based on your family history, based on your influence, and based on your own body's genetic propensity for this or that. So you may not be able to get as much protein as the next person. You may not be able to get as many carbs. You may not be able to handle meat, or you may need meat. I wish people would quit looking to put themselves in. I understand why they do. They want to have the comfort of saying, here's the best way, it'll always work, and here's the way you should eat. I wish it were that way. It's never that way. It's just never that way. So divorce yourself from the dieter's prison idea, or what leads to dieting prison. Divorce yourself from food exclusion. Divorce yourself from the idea that you're going to put something in and get 100-fold out. It doesn't work that way. You're always going to get as you've put in. It's just that way. You're not going to find a way that's going to eliminate all hunger if you're fasting. You might eliminate a lot of it if you use the teas, if you use water, if you monitor your activity levels. You can be very constructive with your efforts, but you cannot hack the system to the extent that people wish you could. You will not go out and find some way to just completely turn off hunger signals. At least we haven't figured out a way to do it yet. And if you did, you'd probably have complications from it. So stop looking from the stream in the desert. Stop. It's not there. It's a mirage. Get back to what probably brought you to this channel. What you know will give you dividends. What you know will give you dividends is self-control. What you know will give you dividends in return, even better, is to know yourself and to realize your own limitations and to realize what you're capable of. Once you find that out, a peace comes over you and you stop looking for shortcuts. It doesn't matter really how you eat. What it matters is how you can control yourself and how you live. If you remember that, you're going to have much better success in the long run.